Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside. I'm outside on a walk. It's time well spent. That's right. There are so many benefits to spending time on a walk, right? Let's just get past the physical attributes, the physical benefits of getting those steps in, right? There are so many studies that are, changing the numbers. It doesn't really matter, right? Always try and get more. That's what it comes down to. Just go for a walk. 20 minutes. It's time well spent, right? So yes, being active, being in motion, going for a walk is going to benefit your cardiovascular system. It is going to help your heart. It is going to help move blood around. It's going to engage muscle groups. All right. It's going to improve your balance. It's going to help with those smaller stabilizer muscles, right? In your feet or your ankles, your knees, your hips, right? There are aspects of core engagement. All right. You can work on your posture. It is going to help you physically, right? Depending on how you walk, that's where you can, add some range and sort of, target different benefits that you want. So just go for a walk, right? Try and spend 20 minutes walking, right? And I know the name of this channel is Sam Outside. I'm an advocate. I'm trying to inspire people to spend more time outside. So for me, yes, there are more gains, there are more benefits to walking outside. But if that's not possible, and I get it, right? Active choices you can make in your everyday life at work, right? Taking the stairs rather than the elevator, right? That is a very different kind of exercise, right? And those steps are very different than walking down the hall, right? And engaging entirely different muscle groups. But yeah, it's those steps, but it's the kind of steps you're getting. So walking outside, a little bit different than walking on a treadmill. Yes, you can change the way you walk on that treadmill, right? Depending on the style or the model, you can, change the speed, obviously, right? And you can add some incline, right? So that will, again, force some changes in the muscle and the cardiovascular benefits of that walking exercise. But they're going to recommend 20 minutes, right? But walking is so accessible. And despite your mobility, the act of moving and being outside, just 20 minutes. Just spend 20 minutes walking. It's time well spent. If you can, go outside, right? And it's not a regular habit. It's not something that you are consistent at, right? Well, walking once a week. That's a great start, right? Just go out. Walk where it's safe. Walk when it's comfortable. So dress appropriately. Have something comfortable on your feet so that is the thing that is not detracting you from it. And the next time you do it, it will feel easier. It will feel better. And that's where the time and the commitment comes in to making a change in lifestyle. So if you've seen me on this channel before, you know that I'm out here twice a day, every day, because of, Mr. Indiana Bones back there. Yeah. So I do walk twice a day, intentionally for the dog. And so it's 20 minutes, half hour in the morning. Anything more, and well, it just affects the rest of my morning schedule. But in the evening, right? Yeah, then I can afford more time and I can afford more opportunities to change terrain, change the pace. So I do it because I can. And I didn't always have a dog. Well, I've always had dogs, but there's been some gaps between ownership. And we still went out. It wasn't every day and it wasn't twice a day, but we still went out on walks because it was just part of what we wanted to do to appreciate, the landscape that we share. And so going to visit the lake, to appreciate the seasons, to harvest wild edibles, just out and out consistently. And that's the key there, is the consistency of it. So in the past 5 years with Mr. Indian Bones, it has been very consistent. Twice a day, 7 days a week, rain or shine, right? And I don't really worry about the steps. I mean, I've got a pretty good idea depending on the route I'm taking, but hey, 3,000 steps through, a foot of freshly fallen snow is very different than the 3,000 steps I would get walking along the side of the road, right? One of those is way more of a workout. So it's not about the steps. But the fact that I am out going for a walk, I can make active choices outside of the time commitment, right? So changing that pace, whether you're on a treadmill or whether you're out on a trail or on the sidewalk, doing some interval walking. And that's where you switch the intensity, try with 1 minute intervals or 2 minute intervals or 3 minute intervals, but you're changing the pace from a slow, steady, comfortable pace for one interval. And then you are making a choice to greatly increase the pace, right? So that it is a little more intense, a little more challenging. That might mean not only quickening the steps, but also the length of the step. And you can also vary the intensity of your walk by just choosing terrain, all right? So this is where if you're on a treadmill, maybe it's a couple moments, a couple sessions where it is a steeper incline, or if you can adjust the tension on that track, on that treadmill, right, you might choose to add some resistance. So using the terrain, and there are differences between walking uphill, and there's different muscle groups and different aspects of your core and your posture, and you're walking downhill as well. So the point is, walking has way more benefits than simply working your cardiovascular system, working on strengthening your muscles, those major muscle groups in your legs, your core, those finer stabilizer muscles. And when you're walking in nature, you definitely have a lot more considerations around the care you take with your steps. You'll notice that the leaf litter, and you're like, look at that. Some people might get lost. I just happen to know this, but at this time of year with so much fresh leaf litter on the ground, am I on the trail or am I simply walking where it seems to be the path of least resistance between two trees? Well, yeah. So yeah, there are some considerations around safety and comfort, around your intensity, for your duration. But keep it simple. Start simple. Starts with a persistence. Go for one walk. Not a waste of time. Good use of time. And then once you start to do it more than once it becomes something you're committing to, you start to notice that there's the ability and the want and the need for consistency. Well, after a while, that becomes habit, just becomes part of what you do, part of who you are, right? So that consistency, now we're going to start to see the gains, right? You'll start to lose some weight, trim down a little bit, but then start to think about not only how you're walking, how long you're walking for, and the style of walking, choosing to walk inside, outside, but then you can start to target other aspects. Breath work, right? So if you can, you should be able to walk at a pace comfortably where you can still hold a conversation, much like this, especially if you're walking with someone else. But if you can think about the time of day you're walking, if you're walking outside in nature, even in your neighborhood, just walking outside, if you can do it first thing in the morning, especially if you can do it, depending on your morning routine, taking a walk within 10 minutes of you eating greatly improves your digestion, which is going to change your metabolic rate and how you process that food, right? So you're not going to get that overwhelming bloated sensation, which is going to delay and have insulin spikes and whatnot. So choosing when you walk after that meal, but also walking first thing in the morning, if you can do it within an hour of waking, what it does to your cortisol production, because that act of waking is when our cortisol levels are at their highest naturally, right? As we prepare for our day and coming out of sleep, that's when natural cortisol production is at its highest. So if you can get outside and do any form of exercise, but walking is a great way to do it, and fitting that in, added benefits. And again, walking first thing in the morning, getting that first bit of sunlight, it's a different wavelength. If you can do it near sunrise, then you're getting the red wavelengths, which is a little more in tune with what your body needs for recovery and activating vitamin D. So it's a little bit different than the intense blue spectrum, which is in the later part of the day, right? Sunset's included, but also first thing in the morning, you're then activating your circadian rhythm. It really does help your body develop a natural sleep-wake cycle in tune with your environment, and that morning walk will help you with your evening sleep. So, and walking in nature, exercising some mindfulness, whether you're walking with somebody or yourself, you are going to smell, you are going to hear, you are going to feel, you are going to be aware and make observations, and that is going to be connecting to other parts of your brain that are also going to relieve anxiety and stress, promote calm. So while it's improving your sleep and you're getting your vitamin D transformation, and then getting fresh air, all these things affect your metabolism while you're working on your cardiovascular system, your digestion, right? You're getting exercise, you're actively gaining some mobility and some strength, some endurance. But all those other aspects, lowering your blood pressure, regulating your heart rhythms, boosting your creativity and your focus, your ability to problem solve, all of these things are heightened with simple exercise, right? And it's low impact. You're not going to really stress your joints relative to other exercises, right? If you are looking for ways to improve your health that way. So walking when it's convenient as a start, and at a pace that is comfortable, in an environment and with equipment that is safe and comfortable. All these things are going to help promote a want and a need to continue what is a great habit. It is time well spent. So I have a need to walk the dog, yes, but it is more than that. So adding little intentional tweaks to when and how and where all add gains and benefits. And I feel the results, I see the results, and I am consistent and just part of who I am. So, and I've been pretty consistent in trying to promote and share those things that are second nature and comfortable and productive in my own life. And that is spending time outside and often on a walk with you. So there are some gains, there are some benefits, and I do it when it's not easy. I do it because I have to for the dog, but I would do it. I work outside. I'm a working professional in the outdoor education and camping industry. I have been an ISA certified arborist, forest therapy guide, a challenge course professional, spending my entire life outside and pretty comfortable in any environment, outdoors, any time of day, any time of year. And that just helps with the ease of my daily walk routine. I'm not one for running. I can, but it stresses me out in a very different way. But I do understand and appreciate the benefits of it. And so for me, that is a different kind of training, and it is a different commitment, and it's one that I'm not consistent with. And yes, there are some benefits to it, but it's not as easy, and there are some consequences that sometimes don't outweigh the effort. But walking, especially when you know how and when, can greatly improve the quality of life. So go for a walk. It is time well spent. All right. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. Go for a walk. Go outside. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.